And welcome back one more time to the Touchline Talk Show. I will mention it one more time. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content I put out on YouTube. Special edition of the weekend look ahead here, focused exclusively on the two primary, top five European leagues that are ending their seasons this weekend. Premier League, Bundesliga. What is at stake? What games do you need to be paying attention to? What do certain teams need to achieve or avoid certain situations from happening? Starting in the Premier League, all these games on Sunday, the ones that have ramifications. Fulham at Manchester United. Now, I should also qualify this by saying this could change a little bit based on the United game on Thursday that has not happened. But as of now, games with implications. Fulham at Manchester United, Liverpool at Southampton, Brighton at Aston Villa, Bournemouth at Everton, Tottenham at Leeds, West Ham at Leicester. United need one more point to clinch the top four, Champions League spot. They could get that against Fulham. They could get that against Chelsea. They could get that against Fulham. So at that point, Liverpool's game against Southampton doesn't carry a lot of weight. However, if United lose both of these games and Liverpool beat Southampton, Liverpool is going to win on goal difference. So if they can finish tied, they will finish in the Champions League spot. They will get that top four spot. It's just incredibly unlikely. They really needed to avoid dropping points over the weekend. They couldn't do it. And so United have two opportunities here to make sure that they finish in that Champions League spot. So if you're Liverpool, you're hoping for a miracle. Then, Europa Conference League. Aston Villa, currently in 7th, 1 point ahead of Spurs. These teams are tied on goal difference. So what that means is, if Villa match Spurs' result, they get the Conference League spot. If they both lose, matching result, including both losing, right? If Spurs win and Villa draw or lose, Spurs get the spot. Again, Villa hosting Brighton, who just clinched a Europa League spot, Tottenham going to Leeds. Or if Spurs draw and Villa lose, Spurs will, because they're tied on goal difference now, pass Villa on goal difference and get 7th place that way. So it's basically a who gets the better result situation. If Villa can match it, they're going to Europe. For top 7 finish, Europa Conference League. Then you got relegation. This isn't super complicated. You got 3 teams for 2 spots. And I kind of operate it and think of it in a way that I think is not overly complex. I'll go through all the actual permutations first, and then I'll kind of explain what I mean. Everton win, and they're safe. Leicester win, and Everton draw or loss because of their goal difference. They're safe. Leeds need a win of Leicester to drop points and Everton to drop points to have a chance. Now, this also gets complicated because Leeds are 2 points back of Everton and -3 in the goal difference battle there. So hypothetically, if Leeds win and Everton draw, Leeds could win by enough. Again, this is unlikely but possible that they pass Everton even if Everton draw. But the simple way to think about it is this. Everton win, they're staying up, the other 2 teams go down. Leicester win, Everton don't win, Leicester stay up, the other 2 teams go down. Leeds win, Everton lose, Leicester don't win, Leeds stay up. So Leeds need all kinds of help. Everton are in control, and Leicester aren't in a terrible spot. They just need one thing to go their way. If Everton don't win, and Leicester if Everton don't win and Leicester do win, Leicester stay up. If Leicester don't win, it doesn't matter. They're getting relegated. And then you're hoping, if you're Leeds, that Everton lose and you win, and then Leeds stay up. So there is a path for all three teams. I just expect this to come down to Leicester and Everton. But who knows? So that's the situation there. And then in the Bundesliga, your games with ramifications. Bayern at Köln. These games are on Saturday, so the Bundesliga will end one day before the Premier League. Bayern at Köln, Mainz at Dortmund, Werder Bremen at Union Berlin, Freiburg at Eintracht Frankfurt, Augsburg at Borussia Mönchengladbach, Schalke at Red Bull Leipzig, Hoffenheim at Stuttgart, Leverkusen at VfL Bochum. Now, pretty much everything is in play still here. Dortmund match Bayern's result, champions. Right? They got the 1 point edge right now, but they're not winning on goal difference. So a Dortmund loss and a Bayern draw does not help them very much. They've got to just keep that 1 point advantage. So a win gets the job done. That's really the focus here. You can't be hoping that, because if they draw, and then you got to hope Bayern draws, and Dortmund are in control. They just need to match Bayern. That's where that's at. Then top 4 race. Leipzig are in at 3, so it's coming down to Union Berlin and Freiburg. They're tied on points. Union Berlin are currently 4 ahead on goal difference. So again, hypothetically, Freiburg could go win 6-0 and pass Union Berlin on goal difference. Is that going to happen? Probably not. So if you're Freiburg, you are hoping that you need to better Union Berlin's result. If you're Union Berlin, you feel pretty good as long as you match Freiburg's that you will be going to the Champions League next season. Then you got the relegation battle. There are all kinds of teams still involved. I am not going through all the permutations because it's way more complicated than the Premier League. The one game I want to highlight, though, is Hoffenheim-Stuttgart. Because this one is pretty simple. Stuttgart, win, stay up. Hoffenheim, avoid losing, they stay up. So somebody is going to come out of this game having avoided relegation. And somebody is probably going to be worried at the end of it. Now, it could be that both teams end up fine. There's just so many games and so many possible outcomes. It's way too complicated to get into. But that is the one game that it is pretty clear. Somebody is going to come away very happy with that result because it will mean that they are safe. And it's entirely possible both teams end up being safe. But that's where we're at. That's as much as I wanted to get into because, quite honestly, I didn't feel like trying to figure out all of the... It's something like 5 or 6... Just go look at the table and see how many teams could still end up somewhere in that relegation conversation is quite something. So, that is all for the weekend look ahead. Enjoy this final match day in the Premier League and the Bundesliga.